Hello students, in this video we are going to talk about rational or fractional indices. First we are going to establish what it means. So for instance, if I have 9 power a half, what does this actually mean? So we will leave that for a while and try to think about the expression square root of 9, which is of course the answer is 3, right? So if you multiply square root of 9, which is 3, multiplied by another square root of 9, which is 3, obviously the answer is 9. Okay? So now let's go back to our fractional indices. If I have 9 power a half multiplied by 9 power a half, if we apply the first rule, the first law of indices, the multiplication law, then we are supposed to add the power, right? The indices. So it's 9 power half plus half, which is 1. So this is 9 power 1, which is just 9. So both expression, both form actually gives us the same answer, which is 9. So meaning we can conclude that square root of 9 and 9 power a half actually means the same thing. So basically if I write 9 power a half, this means square root of 9. Okay, so similarly, if we have, for instance, cube root of 8, so a number times itself 3 lots equals 8, something times something times something equals 8. The answer is 2, right? So then if we multiply these two, square root of 8 times cube root of 8 times cube root of 8 times cube root of 8, so 2 times 2 times 2, obviously the answer is 8. So now if we express this as, for instance, 8 power 1/3 multiplied by 8 power 1/3 multiplied by 8 power 1/3, supposedly with multiplication law, we are going to add on the powers, 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. So 3 times 1/3 is 1. So here the answer is 8. So obviously now we also see that these two expression actually means exactly the same thing. Yeah. So 8 power 1/3. So the power 1/3, this fractional power, just means it's the third root or cube root of 8. So knowing this, similar example will be the fourth root of 16. So if you multiply that by itself 4 lots, then you have 16 as an answer. So then we can conclude that 16 power 1/4 is actually the same as the fourth root of 16. Okay, so in general, if you have this kind of expression, power fraction, the denominator n shows you the nth root of a number. So a power 1 over n equals nth root of a. Okay, so let's apply this in some of the questions in this example. So the first question, 4 power a half, it means square root of 4. So the answer is 2. 27 power 1/3, so it means it's cube root of 27. Something times something times something is 27. The answer is 3. Cube root of 125. So 125 power 1/3. Something times something times something is 125. Answer is 5. Similarly, 81 power a quarter means 1/4. Yeah. So it's fourth root of 81. So something times something times something times something equals 81. Answer is 3. Similarly, you could probably infer that the fifth root of 32 is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 32. So the next example here, you are only expected to write it in index form. So with this understanding now, you could see that square root of 16, you can write as 16 power a half. Cube root of 64, you can write as 64 power 1/3. and fourth root of 256 you can write as 256 power a quarter. Okay? All right, so next. What if the numerator is not 1? At the moment we have 1 over n, so denominator n showing you the nth root, but numerator is 1. So what if the numerator is not 1? So let's have a look. If I, for instance, have an expression like this, 8 to the power of 2/3, because of the power rule, let's say I split 2/3 into 1/3 times 2. That's okay, right? 2/3 is similar, or 2/3 is actually the same thing, equivalent to 1/3 times 2. So according to power rule, I can actually write something like this. So first I have 8 power 1/3 and then power 2 again. Because then it means I have to multiply the two powers, right? 8 power 1/3 power 2, meaning I have to multiply 1/3 times 2. So in that sense, now you can see that when you have power 2/3 here, the denominator will actually give you the cube root, and then the numerator means that you have to still do the power of that number. So raise it to the power to that number, okay? So in this case, in this question then you are going to calculate first the cube root of 8, and after you find the answer, you are going to square it. So cube root of 8 is 2, so 2 power 2 is 4. So that's how this works. So again, here a couple of more examples shows you that 81 power 3/4, for instance. So the denominator 4 shows you that it is fourth root of 81. And then the numerator 3 shows you that afterwards, after you find the answer, you still have to do power 3. Similarly, 32 power 4/5 here. The denominator 5 means you take the fifth root of 32, and then afterwards, the result you will have to do power 4. Okay, so let's have a look to this example then. So when I have 27 power 2/3, I can actually write it as 27 power 1/3 and then power 2 again, right? 2 times 1/3 is 2/3. So I will have to think about the cube root of 27, and then we are going to square it afterwards. Cube root of 27, something times something times something is 27, answer is 3, and then we are going to square it. So 3 squared is 9. So the answer to this question is 9. Let's remove this handwriting. Right, so the next thing, 16 to the power of 3/4. This means, look at the denominator first, fourth root of 16. And then we are going to do power 3, raise it to the 3. So fourth root of 16 is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, right? So fourth root of 16 is 2. And then we do power 3. Answer is 8. So the answer is 8 here. Similarly, again, we are going to take the sixth root of 64. Something multiplied by itself 6 lots to get 64. The answer is 2. So 2 power 5 is 32. So here the answer is 32. So you probably can work it out yourself. What is the fifth root of 32 in the next question? And then we are going to square it. So fifth root of 32 is 2, and then 2 squared is 4. So here the answer is 4. Right, let's remove again this handwriting. So the next example, you are only asked to write it in index form, so using fractional indices. So you see there that we are taking fourth root. So meaning it's a quarter, right? And then 4 will be in the denominator. And then we are going to do power 3 out of the answer. So numerator is 3. So here basically 625 power 3 quarter. The next one will be then 125 power 2/3. And the last question is 100 power 7/8. All right, so I hope that this kind of makes sense. So in general then, here is the general form. So denominator will be the nth root and numerator will be the power. Okay, so this is the general form. So let's have a look next to some of these examples. 27 power 2/3 we already did before. So this was actually cube root of 27, which is 3. And then we square it, answer is 9. The next question, 64 power 1.5, but 1.5 is actually 3/2, right? That's 1.5. We can write it as fraction. And then now we know denominator 2, so meaning square root of 64. And then we do power 3 on that. So square root of 64 is 8, and then 8 power 3. So 8 times 8 times 8 again, so that will be 512. All right? Okay, so the next one we are going to combine negative power and fractional power. So 81 power negative 3/4. So remember, the negative power actually means that the base will become its reciprocal. So we are going to apply that first. So if there is a combined negative and fractional power, the best will be to apply the negative power first, negative indices. So meaning the base will become its reciprocal, and then power 3/4. So meaning in this case, we are going to take the fourth root of 1/81, and then we are going to cube it. So something times something times something times something is 1/81, answer is 1/3, because 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3 is 1/81. And then we are going to do power 3 on that. So 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3, answer is 1/27. So that's the answer to the third question. I'm going to remove everything and just write down the answer, which is 1/27. Okay, so you notice that it doesn't become negative. So be careful, negative indices doesn't make the answer a negative value, but actually it turns the base into its reciprocal. So similarly here, 4/9 power negative 1/2. So the negative will actually change the base into reciprocal, so 9/4, and then power 1/2. So meaning you are taking the square root of 9/4. So square root of 9 is 3, square root of 4 is 2, so answer is 3/2. So hopefully this is clear. Be patient when you are applying all these indices, and you just have to do it step by step, one by one. So try the exercises in the worksheets. Good luck!